Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome to the commentary video of my Stu a Little 2 review. This is my third take freaking doing this now. I've actually watched this review back like 3 times now because I've had to get this blooming mic working and it's not syncing up to my webcam. Anywho, so take 3, hopefully third time's the charm. As you all know, YouTube videos are coming out very, very rarely these days. The reason being is because I now have a video editing gig, which is taking up an awful lot of time. So you guys' support on Patreon is becoming more important than ever now. And I'd like to offer more perks to you guys soon, in fact, to hopefully persuade more people to support me on here, because the more support I have on Patreon, the more time I can focus on making YouTube videos, ergo the more videos you guys get from me. So it's like a win-win situation if more people support me on here. And I swear, it's not me like trying to like swindle anybody. I try not to I don't want more money for the sake of wanting more money. Well, I mean, okay, maybe I do a little bit. I mean, who wouldn't want that? But it's more so that if I have more support on here, I can focus on making more YouTube videos, which is where my passion lies. I want to make more content for you guys, so thank you all very much for the support. Anyway, Stu a Little 2. So yeah, this is a movie that it doesn't hold as quite as much nostalgic appeal as the first movie did. But yeah, it's a movie that I very, very much enjoyed. It's not a classic by any stretch of the imagination, much like the first one, but it's a fun little family feature that if you watch it, yeah, chances are you're going to enjoy it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give my thoughts on the commentary for it. My commentary, I'm going to give my again, this is why I need a script for my videos. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and watch this review, add my thoughts as I go along as to all the little jokes and what went into making it. And yeah, without further ado, let's begin.
Stuart Little 2 by the unusual suspects.
Okay, so the very first thing I do in a review is try to figure out like a way to grab people's attention immediately. And I thought a limerick would be a good idea to start off with, because I've always found those kind of funny. That shot, by the way, of the foot coming down, that was from the movie Ants with a Z. You know, that movie that everyone was comparing to A Bug's Life. It was just the first thing that came to mind when I needed the clip of a foot coming down.
The general consensus for the film now is, yeah, it was alright. It's the second best film about mouse, I guess. Okay,
A lot of these movies I've actually, some of them rather I've not actually seen, like Secret of Nim I've seen, Ratatouille I've seen. Great Mouse Detective, though, I've never actually seen. I've heard good things about it, but I'm just saying it's better than Stu a Little 2 based on reputation, so I don't know, maybe that's a bit of a wrong of me to do, but there's just so many classic movies I've never seen that I really need to get around to. Oh, so that's not fun, that is. It's a lot of reason a lot of movies these days I just can't go back and rewatch because of like Usual Suspects, for example, with Kevin Spacey and Bryan Singer. You know, it's like it's annoying because it's the bloody movie that I'm named off of, and then yet the star and the frigging director are both sex offenders. It's just ugh. Why can't I name myself after another movie? So this was actually the very it was only like 2 to 3 days after I filmed this review that I actually moved house. So hence why you can see in my bookcase behind me there's barely anything on it, because I was in the process of moving. I love you. I've always been trying to find a use for that incredible clip. My brother was very confused when I showed him that joke, because unless you're familiar with that Martha scene from BVS, then probably that'll go way over your head. Oh, this whole football soccer feud thing, like, it really doesn't bother me at all. I was just making the joke that it bothers everyone else. Like, a lot of people get really, really worked up over it, so. It's like the word soccer, it was actually coined in the UK, wasn't it? It was, so. Although, of course, it doesn't make much sense to call it football because of the whole, they don't actually use their feet thing, but to each his own. I was really debating whether I should cut out that Brazil joke because I didn't want to piss off any Brazilian subscribers, but yeah. I mean, they're hardly my biggest demographic, but hopefully they have a good sense of humor about themselves. So there was a YouTube poop actually I saw where somebody made a joke where they had a foot come down on Stuart after he goes out to play football, and I tweeted about it actually because I really wanted to do that joke, but somebody already did it. So I thought, well, how could I subvert expectations a bit? And I come up with the idea that what if Stuart actually gets crushed even when he's not on the pitch? Oh, so this was a joke that I was like this close to cutting that joke where I'm yelling at the fat kid, and because I thought maybe it was a bit too harsh, and I thought it might offend people who were, struggling with weight themselves, but yeah, it turned out to be one of the fan favorite jokes in the review. So,
Oh God, I can't watch. But the ball rolls towards George as it's up to him to score the
so this next joke is like I'm complaining a lot about a stupid scene in the movie where a mouse is playing football, and it made me realize that when I'm reviewing a movie like Star Wars or something, I can afford to be a bit more critical, and it makes sense. But with a movie like this, it's like a stupid kids movie, so you can't be too nitpicky about it, otherwise it doesn't make any sense.
goddamn sense.
So I come up with the idea where I just sort of
How did a 2-inch tall
absolutely go all out cinema sins on it, and then I'm like, oh, and I get all like pissy about it, and despite the fact that it's just a stupid kids movie, and you really shouldn't get like that. It's like there's some movies where you can nitpick them to day for days on end, point out so many things wrong with them, but they all amount to nothing really. So
sleepers the next day,
because they're just
together to build an airplane.
they're not exactly going for factuality here. Factuality, is that a word? Probably not. So I was debating whether I should make another joke about Sony, with yet another product placement, but I've talked about that already quite a lot in my reviews. Funnily enough, I've just noticed that I've actually been reviewing an awful lot of Sony films for some reason. I don't know why that is.
Shared cinematic universe, baby. Yeah, Spider-Man 1 and Stuart Little 2 came out the same year. Both are set in New York.
So I hope I'm not convincing anybody that this is actually a real theory that I really am. I'm just messing around and just joking. But it is admittedly kind of cool how there's two actors that are in both franchises. There's like it's a feature on IMDb that I learned about this, where you can type two different movies into IMDb, and it'll give you this thing where it'll show you actors and crew members that were in both movies. Like I think like the casting director for the Spider-Man movies and the Stuart Little movies is the same as well. And in some rare cases, you'll find actors who are in both as well. So, and considering that the characters weren't named in the Spider-Man movies, then you can really play around with it with a theory. So this I can never watch this scene again without noticing that laser pointer. I mean, there was a movie that JonTron and Nostalgia Critic reviewed called, it was like a cat movie, a talking cat, I think it was called. And in that movie, there were lots of like those laser pointers noticeable, but that's understandable in a movie that with a low budget like that. But in a movie like Stuart Little 2, it's like, how did anyone not notice that? Why is that so funny? I find that I don't know why I found that line so funny. Watch out for the fucking nuns. Sometimes just things can just be funny to you and you don't quite know why. So there's this little composition right here. This took a while to edit. A lot of After Effects work and using the clone tool to get it out in Photoshop and adding like a million explosion effects, but it turned out pretty well, so I was quite happy with it. Visual effects are not really my forte, I don't think, but I'd like to get better at it. It's such a bizarre line. I mean, I don't know if any Canadians agree with me on that, but and originally I thought to myself, Canadians like to be alone, and I was trying to think, oh well, alone from America because of Donald Trump. But I thought, oh, I'm going to make like a million Donald Trump jokes, so I should probably quit while I'm ahead.
I mean, check out what happened to the last mouse that played basketball.
Maybe I should review Space Jam actually someday. I mean, I know Nostalgia Critic already reviewed it, but that was a movie that it wasn't like a childhood movie of his, but it was definitely of mine, so maybe I could offer like an alternative view on it. It's why I reviewed Home Alone 3, because that was a movie I had a bit more, that was more like a childhood movie. Came out in 97, and I would have been like 6 or 7 at the time.
She's a dead canary. Wait a minute, dead canary? Yes! Out to the hole!
I use way too many Simpsons clips. I'm gonna have to sort of challenge myself to do a review where I never use a Simpsons clip in the whole thing.
She's clearly very dazed and confused though.
Originally, I thought about taking this joke on even longer, where I would give another reason why Margola is dead, and another reason why she's alive, and then just go back and forth and have them like going in and out of the hole like about 8 times or something. But I thought I couldn't think of a funny way to end it, so I thought I'll just cut it out at 2 instances of it. I want to show my brother this. Yeah, that sense of the line there, that was my brother's favourite joke. He seemed to guffaw himself laughing at that. Unnecessary censorship is always funny. There's a YouTube video called The Count Censored, which is like a censored version of a song from Sesame Street. Just type Count Censored into YouTube and watch it. It's absolutely hilarious. It's the dumbest thing ever, but it's absolutely fun. It's friggin' funny. Only watch it if you've got an immature sense of humor like me. If you don't, then you'll probably think it's stupid. I love using that Smeagol clip.
I just can't help but notice that she's acting happy. Too happy.
So I was thinking of bringing up the fact that in Margolo's eyes, they look quite bloodshot as well. So I thought I'll bring that into the whole thing, because she's acting kind of high, but I couldn't think of a way to work it in, so thought I would just stretch the joke on a bit too much.
It was wonderful.
Also, that zoom in shot right there of Margolo, I've been making full use of a new thing on Premiere Pro, which is my editing program called Optical Flow, which basically allows you to slow down footage that wasn't shot in slow motion and make it look like it's in slow motion. And it was a feature I've spent years in Premiere Pro and I never knew about it, and I've been messing around with it quite a lot, and it comes in very handy.
I like how Mrs. Little here seems shocked that Stuart saved someone, and not by the fact that, oh, I don't know, a fucking canary just spoke back to you in plain English.
Yeah, it's so bizarre, this, isn't it?
Rules of this world. Mice can speak to humans. Birds can apparently speak to humans.
I bring up Stuart Little 3 here as well. It was actually a movie that I watched for the very first time when writing this review, because I'd never seen it, and yeah, it's pretty bad. The animation hasn't aged well. I mean, it wasn't good by the time it came out standards. When did it come out? Like 2005 or something like that, I think.
You little bastard. Oh, and are these animals even aware of what humans do to them? Because, well...
Also, this joke here where I'm pointing about how Stuart offers a bird an omelette, it kind of reminds me of when I reviewed Parappa the Rapper, where I brought up the fact that the chicken cook was cooking using eggs. Fond memories of that review, actually, because that was the one that PewDiePie saw when he gave me a shout out.
So everyone heads out for the day as Margolo has a run-in with the...
I should do more game reviews in that style. I mean, obviously, if I get a PewDiePie shout out, clearly they work. I love James Woods in this. I think a lot of people were expecting me to do some sort of like Hades reference, obviously, but I couldn't think of anything. Plus, Hercules was actually a movie it was another movie I only watched rather recently, only about like a year or two ago. It was one of those classic Disney ones I'd never seen. Oh, this was another movie I've not seen. I only know it through Nostalgia Critic, but it has to be one of those movies. It was Milk and Money, by the way. It's watch Nostalgia Critic's review of it. It looks like the movie looks terrible. How I got greenlit, I will have no idea. I make a quick dinner reference there. Blame my brother for getting me into the YouTube poops. I thought about doing them myself, actually, but Maybe I should do one. I don't know.
break. How much could a two-inch tall mouse possibly
Also,
weigh?
this was a continuity error that I should have fixed, but I didn't. Where if you watch the review, I'm wearing a green shirt, whereas I've cut to there and I'm wearing a white one.
Thanks to Margolo's quick thinking.
Again, I was stressed for time at the moment at that time because I was almost about to move house.
Kissing a rat that
Another optical flow shot, by the way. You see where I've slowed down that shot of her kissing Stuart, but it still looks smooth. Yeah, optical flow in Premiere Pro comes in very, very handy. It's also gross that she kisses, as I said, a rat that came out of a drain.
this leads Stuart to believe the Falcon got her as he goes to find her on his own.
I'm gonna find her. And don't try to talk me out of it because I've made up my mind.
Stuart, why even go behind Mr. and Mrs. Little's backs on this one? Just tell them the truth. They
Also, this is
safety as well. They just
when I say they care about Margolo's safety as well, I wanted to reshoot that line because for some reason I fluffed it up. I do that all the time in my reviews. Actually, I always end up fluffing. Oh, excuse me, fluffing up lines, and it's okay to like re-record a video, but when you got to re-record a actual video, then it's considerably more difficult because you got to try and match the shot that you had shot before. Like if you watch my Ni no Kuni 2 review, there's a bit where I had to reshoot a whole section because I actually forgot to film it all, and it's kind of painfully obvious where the first shoot is and where the reshoot is because the lighting looks completely different. I mean, it's difficult because I film myself. I don't have a cameraman. I mean, my brother helps me sometimes, but oftentimes I don't want to bother him too much. So yeah. I mean, this review was all shot by me and me alone. Apart from the green screen shoot, sometimes my brother like models the shot, and I try and like get the angle and the lighting right. But it's still really, really difficult, and I really need to get better. I need to do that. I love doing that, where I just sort of like sync R-rated lines onto other characters. Like if you watch my episode 1 review where Sebulba crashes, I use a line from Shawshank Redemption where he's like, "Fuck this place," and it's one of my favorite edits I've ever done. I had a lot of fun with that. Speaking of references, I make way too much. I use way too many Spaceballs clips. Originally, I thought, oh, vary it up a bit. I used that clip from Scary Movie instead, where they do the exact same joke, but they just stole that joke, didn't they, from Spaceballs? So you know that bit where she screams and then the camera hits her face? That's just stolen from Spaceballs, so...
Yeah, someone who knows the city's disgusting underbelly. Who do I know that's disgusting?
So this joke I was worried about because I thought... It goes by so quick. Is it obvious that I'm thinking Snowball is referencing the Asian people? I don't know if that joke quite worked. It was kind of hard to tell. Again, it's so difficult to judge your own comedy, which is why I love seeing reaction videos from people, because that way I can work out what jokes work, what jokes don't.
That's more of a testament to his excellent digestion system than anything, but go on.
I was debating of... obviously, there's the infamous line from the first movie where Monty's like, "Please," and he says it in this movie as well, but I couldn't think of anything to say about it. But I work in like a please reference in the post-credit scene. Optical flow again. See how I slowed that down and it looks all smooth? I can't get over how good that effect is. I love it. Smile on that face. A lot of people are requesting a Dark Knight trilogy review as well. It'll come eventually, I guess. Also, this clip here where it was like a last-minute inclusion. He shit everywhere. It's like the only funny scene from Dumb and Dumberer. And it's a poop joke, so shows you how good that movie is. Does that count as a fart joke? Because you know, I got a lot of comments from people saying that I shouldn't do those anymore. So does that count as a fart joke?
Yeah, Stuart says about the same effect.
Thing is, Snowbell actually says in the movie bombs away when he's referring to going for a crap, and I thought about doing like a fit fart joke with that, but sometimes it's just so hard to resist them. because it is a lot of fun to edit because I have an immature sense of humor. Also, that clip from Moana, actually, that was another last-minute inclusion, but in the original clip, he says, well, she's dead. And I managed to edit it just a way so that I got rid of the sh sound, and then it made it sound like he said he's dead, so...
77-year-old leprechaun with a rabbit's foot in one hand, a horseshoe in the other, and a four-leaf clover wrapped around his 12-inch cock isn't as lucky as that.
For some reason, I think that little line there sounded kind of funnier to me in the script. I'm not sure if that joke worked at all, but...
He's pushing that PG rating.
That miserable
I vow revenge. Falcon, we're here right now. I promise them.
It just does seem... That does seem uncharacteristically dark for Snowball, doesn't it?
Jesus, Snowball, that's a bit dark for a kid's movie.
I'll rip his throat out.
As much as that today.
I wonder if that gag will ever get old. Actually, somebody let me know that. I didn't realise this, that guy who says, Cage! He's apparently some sort of WWE guy. I don't know what his name is, but he's associated with the WWE apparently, and I didn't know because I'm not a big wrestling fan or anything, so I just assumed he was just some random extra. Quick little Jake Paul jab. I've seen the videos like exposing what that absolute shithead gets up to. It's just, I can't believe people watch him. Jeez. LA Noire reference. I mean, I know that's not the most topical reference I've ever made. Because that game came out like years ago.
Can't you just select fucking truth? What the hell, man?
I just noticed the amount of like Slytherin merch I've got at the moment. I got the mug and I was wearing the jacket in that shot, and I had that little tin thing in the background. I recently treated myself to someone. I recently went to Edinburgh, I think. Yeah. Oh, speaking of references that I make way too many, this is like what the third or fourth Lonely Island reference I've made. I think I'm gonna run out of songs to do then. Oh yes, I wanted to re-record this rap actually with this microphone, but I ran out of time, so I had to just rely on the shotgun mic on my camera. But I think it turned out okay.
So Stuart's luck continues as he miraculously finds the plane from earlier in the movie, which just so happened to have been dumped on the exact same garbage barge. So he's quick to fix it.
Also, this shot actually, I think that shot right there, it kind of got affected apparently by the 9/11 thing, where I think when they shot that shot of Stuart flying over the Manhattan skyline, the World Trade Center was actually in the shot. And then as they were filming it, I think, obviously 9/11 happened and it went down, and I think they had to digitally remove it. Oh, so this taxi driver is incredible. I actually thought about referencing something else here, because the taxi driver, the actor who played him, is a guy called Ronabi Lahiri, and he actually has his own YouTube channel where he does covers of songs with his sitar, which is like an Indian guitar, I guess. And I thought to myself, like, I send all my subscribers over and let them know, hey, Suspect made you a t-shirt design, you should totally sell it, but I didn't want to like intrude on anyone, so. Oh yeah, no, I also, about that t-shirt design that I showed, I thought to myself, had I had the time to do it, I would have actually gone ahead and got it printed out for real, and then at this point in the review, I would have been wearing like a jacket or something, and I would have zipped it down at this point and then revealed to everyone that I was actually wearing the t-shirt the whole time. But again, ran out of time, so. Somebody pointed out to me actually that I think somebody was saying, calling me a nostalgic rip-off because I was kind of wearing something very similar to what NC wore, and I didn't realise it until I reviewed that I was wearing that sort of blazer and t-shirt design, and also the kind of similar cap as well. I didn't realise, like, I was dressing so similarly, but all that was missing was the tie.
So Stuart saves the plane, but he quickly realizes that outrunning the fucker ain't gonna work. So Stuart decides it's time to play chicken. Just gotta dump the cargo first. What do you mean? Do a barrel roll.
You know, I don't know if anybody will kill me, but I've actually never played Star Fox. I only know it by reputation. Also, this is where you guys on Facebook actually came in very, very handy, where I was asking you guys for all the manner of different clips of characters reacting to a bright light, and you guys gave me like tons of ideas to use, and that my eyes, a bit from SpongeBob movie, was very, very good. I also use a Gravity Falls clip a little later on, of which I've seen Gravity Falls, and it's an amazing show. It's incredible that it only lasted 2 seasons. I really hope they bring it back.
Because he was a cheapskate and he secretly wanted a divorce. And into this ring, he viewed the power of fucking rainbows.
Also, one joke I thought about making was, oddly enough, a Nostalgia Critic reference, you know, with the "Taste the rainbow, motherfucker" line. But I think I saw like another YouTube poop who made that same joke, so...
Jeez, what's he with Rob Minkoff movies and his villains getting eaten alive? You do realize you make kids movies, right? Yeah, not so nice. Anywho, the family all reunite. Mrs. Little gets back the missing sixth ring and the fucking...
On the Captain Planet, quick Captain Planet reference there, originally I thought about you doing like a more fleshed out joke with that, where I'd have the theme song play, where it'd be like, where they'd yell out their powers like wind, water, heart, and then I'd have at the end that clip from Astafa movie where the guy throws up rainbows and he's like rainbows, and I thought about incorporating that line into it as if it was like a Captain Planet power. Wind, water, rainbows, and then overlay that as Stuart shines the ring at Falcon, but I couldn't think of it didn't, the edit didn't quite work. I love using that John McClane clip. Also, that kind of reminds me of a similar joke I did in my episode 2 review, where I pointed about how if Anakin and Padme never got together, then Leia would sort of like vanish from the world. Also, I was struggling to come up with many green screen joke ideas for this review, because obviously there wasn't very many. Because when a review was just so full of like CG characters like Stuart and Margola, then incorporating me, a human, into that, it didn't quite work out. So I thought I'll just like reference a scene from the first movie. Snowbell is amazing. I really hope Nathan Lane could... maybe they should get like Nathan Lane to do like a quick little Snowbell spin-off or something. That'd be fun. I love that line. Oh yeah, the CG. I don't know what the hell happened. In the first movie, the CG, there wasn't any, I don't think. But for some reason, they've added so many really horrendous CGIs now, and it just looks like, you just watch it and it looks really, really bad. It's weird because like Stuart himself, he looks pretty good, especially by 2002 standards. So this whole bit where this is where I've been thinking about like rejigging my reviews a bit, because you know how I go through the movie and I recap the movie as I go along, and then right at the end, then I'm like recapping my thoughts like normal. I don't know if this format works, because maybe it feels a bit, you know, like I got a couple of comments from people saying actual review starts at right at the end, and then I don't know, maybe I should stop calling these reviews. But I don't know what else to call them, really. Like recaps, but kind of, I think, undermines them a bit there. Like, who wants to watch a recap? But that's what my reviews are, just the recaps with occasional snacky comments. Which is, again, why I've been thinking about rejigging these reviews a bit to make them a bit more, have a bit more substance, you know. Try to be a better critic, but still incorporate comedy when I can. Like if you've ever watched Ego Raptor's sequelitis videos, those are kind of like really what I want to make my reviews like. Oh, so that once when I watched Stuart Little 3, that one joke there, I was like, oh my god, I've got to reference that horrendous line. So yeah, that was my Stuart Little 2 review. I think it turned out pretty well, actually. Yeah, it was a lot shorter than usual, and a lot of people were saying, I think a lot of people were thinking rather that was, I was talking about rejigging my reviews, and a lot of people thought, oh, well, this is a rejigged review, but it wasn't. It was just like a normal review because I haven't come up with an idea about how to rejig my reviews. This is just shorter because the movie was short. It's only, oh, bad gas. It's only 70 minutes, which is really short for a theatrical release. I didn't even know they could be that short. I forgot how quick the movie goes by. So yeah, I mean that's 70 minutes. That's also not including the credits. So that's insane how short this movie is. Oh, sorry, I've got really bad gas at the moment. This is a sign I need to get going. So yeah, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. New reviews are in the works. I'm currently writing the script for my Spyro Reignited trilogy review, which hopefully should be out. Well, it's the 5th as I record this, so hopefully it should be out in about a week. Here's hoping anyway. I also need to find a better place to actually film my reviews because I'm in a new place right now, and this room isn't exactly ideal for filming, but I don't know, I'm filming this, so maybe I'll be alright. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. If you have any questions, be sure to ask me if it pertains to anything, but when's the next review coming out, because I can sadly never say. So yeah, and also look out for a viewer poll as well, because I like to let you guys have your say as to what I review next, so look out for that. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. Peace out. Take care.